Welcome back, everybody, to day 2 of the Heart of the Swarm Good Studio King of the Hill series. May have got those words backwards or forwards and reverse, but it doesn't matter. They're all there. And before we jump into the next game, we're just getting ready. HasuObs is warming up, and we'll be ready in a couple of moments' time. Just want to remind you that all the money that's actually in this tournament, the $2,000, is because of you guys subscribing to the Good Studio channel. So if you want to do so, to continue projects like this $2,000 King of the Hill series, be more than appreciated. And on top of that, for you that are already subscribed, after this show finishes, a couple of hours probably by now, we're going to be having Beat the Studio StarCraft 2 style. If you've seen Beat the Studio, it was the Dota one last week. This week's going to be StarCraft 2. So we're going to be having a couple of fun games. You're going to try and beat us. Us. Which either way, I'm going to be playing some 1v1s, 2v2s, 4v4s, whatever. Too Good is going to come in, may play a 1v1 against one of you guys. I think he's going to. I try and help him out the best I can. So we're going to have a lot of fun. So right now, it's serious StarCraft business. But in a couple of hours, we're going to have some fun. Unfortunately, I don't have any alcohol, but Adabisi does. So I'm going to take his, I hope. Maybe he doesn't have any.
I actually drank all my alcohol, but we'll find some in the house.
We'll find some. Maybe James has got a bottle of... Maybe James has got a 100-year-old champagne.
There's always something hidden.
All right, so that's it for information before we get into this. So yeah, like if you want to subscribe and support projects like this, do so. If you want to come have some fun, if you're already subscribed, we'll be doing that after doing some fun games. But I hear the ticking of the game ticking. So let's jump in to our first map, which is going to be, because Challenger picks out of BC,
Akalon Waste.
Whoa, surprise! I'm surprised it's not Cloud, actually, but I am very excited for HasuObs games. I told you he's my main Protoss stream I've been watching recently. He's played a lot of HotS, and he's ranked 30. He's the highest rank of a Protoss player you can get, because he hasn't played any others. Yeah, he hasn't played any other races, apparently. On the other hand, Ghost User's been playing a lot. Either way, we're in. We are in. So down here in the bottom right, we have Millennium's Gosu User. And there he is. He is from the Complexity Academy, and he's currently the king of the hill in this tournament so far. And we'll see if he can get 2 wins. He's banked $125, but the challenger picking this map is mousesports HasuObs. He's the captain of mousesports StarCraft 2 team. He's a veteran in esports in general, has been in Warcraft 3 for a very, very long time. He's 24 years old, and of course you can follow him on Twitter at HasuObs. How do you say HasuObs?
HasuOrbs.
HasuOrbs?
Yeah.
Where's the R?
It's a joke. Rachel did that once.
HasuOrbs?
HasuOrbs, yeah.
I've heard people say Hasu.
No, Hasu. It's like, you know what Hasu is, right?
Nope, no idea.
There's Gosu, Chobo, and Hasu.
What's Hasu?
It's like in between. I think.
What a boring name.
Yeah.
I would have been called GosuObs.
GosuObs.
Against
HoboObs, I think is what.
Alright, so we have a pilot inside the main base in a gateway. This is something I've seen him do quite a lot here. Opening up with initial, especially on this map too. More so than any other maps, and it might be the reason why he's picked this, is because usually Protoss versus Zerg, Zerg versus Protoss, you take a fast third hatchery. On this map, the usual third is where the rock's to be broken through, is you want that pocket expansion, right, for a Zerg. So if we're going to see HasuObs play aggressive early stages, Zealot, Stalker, even Mothership Core can come in. It's going to be very difficult for Ghost User to take an easy third base, unless he expands to the north one, which in general is just more difficult to defend, because now, because now you're in a flat line, right? You're in a flat line compared to the triangle, defensive triangle that you always want to be in a defensive posture usually. Of course, you've got the rocks to break that down to make it safer again on this map, which is very similar to the Wings of Liberty map. A little difference, the Xelnoga Towers, the rocks. Is there any other differences?
Well, I think there's a debate, and it may have happened on the ladder now since they patched, but they're actually going to remove these 2 center towers.
Ooh.
Which I would like. I like maps with less towers, personally.
Didn't have any towers in Brood War.
I know. Game was harder, right?
Yeah, harder game. Second gas also could be looking at a Stargate opening. One gateway into Stargate into expansion is also very popular. But with the use of Chrono Boost here, it looks like it is going to be, as mentioned before, a couple of Stalkers. He skipped the Zealot so he can afford double Stalkers here. into a bit of pressure into an expansion play. May use the Mother Core. I think he's saving his gas towards it potentially here. No, second Stalker. And then we'll see if he saves his gas. The next 100 gas after this probe very well could be for the Mothership Core to help and aid this Stalker. But is that Overlord even going to get trapped here? I think it is.
It looks like he definitely was not expecting this type of opening, and I cannot see this guy escaping.
He's not escaping, gotta be. That's why you can't see it happening. Two Lings are going to try and help out, but they'll just do shield damage and eventually will die anyway. So second Stalker is on the way, as well as the Mothership Core. So as predicted, we see both things happening. We have the early rush from HasuObs looking to do damage. The Mothership Core was revealed though, which is kind of a bummer, but at the same time doesn't really matter as much.
Well, there's actually, when you're producing a Mothership or a Mothership Core, there's a different animation, so...
And there's the alignment of the 3 bases, knowing that he can't take that pocket base anymore. Was that second Overlord?
That was the second Overlord, right there. New death animation as well. So that's not a good start for Ghost User.
2 Overlords! And he's supply capped.
And 2 Lings.
That's
well,
massive.
It'll happen. He does have another one popping out, so... But I mean, now he has to purely produce units because he knows 2 Stalkers are on the way, so...
Yeah, this is really, really bad. And this basically puts Ghost User in an almost all-in position because he has to keep producing Lings no matter what now, because these Stalkers and the Mothership Core will kite them all day long. And then if he starts to try to drone behind it, he's going to be playing from behind because he's such in a bad drone situation here. He's got so many Lings out. These Lings won't kill these Stalkers as long as HasuObs doesn't mess up. The Nexus is almost completed, and we could very easily see a gateway, execution follow-up from this, but that's not going to be the case. Stargate's going to come down, and we could be seeing the Oracle come out. And, well, where's those 2 Stalkers? They've gone home. I think he was expecting a lot earlier gas here. A lot earlier gas. He's gone home way too early here, but he's playing it very safe. But at least the Mothership Core getting a bit of damage done can always recall itself if it's lazy. Teleportation hasn't quite made the mainstream transport method yet, but it's definitely viable in Heart of the Swarm here. And all these Lings have been forced. The defense is set up. 2 Stalkers and a cannon. Interested to see whether it's going to be an Oracle or Void Ray. I have a feeling it's neither going to be neither. And I thought it would be one of the 2 because of the amount of Lings that are coming. Void Ray / Oracle, very good against defending, but with 2 sentries, I guess he's fine. And he should be wanting to start to pull these Phoenixes, I suppose. Doesn't want to get out there too early, hide what he's doing. Usual follow-ups from this are gateway timings as mentioned. So this could be quite a surprise, but with all the gases being taken here, looks like we're going to see a bit of Mutalisk play.
And of course, Phoenix now are even better against mutas with the additional range and just the general Sky Toss being kind of a good endgame composition. So it's kind of tricky going mutas when you're a little bit behind. But of course, mutas are also much better too. So
I guess you can't count out Hydras. I mean, you are seeing it quite a bit, but with all 6 gases taken with this, with no Evo chambers, definitely looks like Mutalisk, as you're saying. Robotics facility coming down in just anticipation, and for scouting to go Colossus and Roachling attacks very strong against Phoenix play, Hydra play strong. What's the best overall thing against that is making strong wall-offs and getting Colossus behind it, and that seems to be the choice here from HasuObs, who does like his Colossus very much so. So far in his games in Heart of the Swarm, is a very strong player when it comes to using a lot of abilities at once. You've got the Mothership Core Time Warp, you've got Storm, Recall, Force Fields, Guardian Shields,
Infestation Pit.
It's twice we've done that today now. Bloody new game. Can't keep track of it. Attack upgrade coming in, Hydra and Infestation Pit coming down, so it looks like a mix of Swarm Host Hydra, most likely Overseers to get rid of detection. But with HasuObs already, I think, leaning towards Colossus play here. We'll see how this is going to work out. Of course, Swarm Host is very good in this matchup compared to versus Terran.
Yes.
Much, much better. Because it's more difficult to deal with them, because Protoss is much more about building a big army that is very slow and heavy, compared to Terran, which are a lot more lighter and mobile. Hydra speed is being researched first here.
And everything getting scouted out here, and you can see immediately throwing down. Actually, also a second robo too. So
definitely expecting this kind of light play, and it's a very good reaction. Who was it that we saw do it last week? Grubby. going straight over. And you can notice that HasuObs is playing this very safe. He hasn't even thrown down his third yet. He should be doing it shortly, but he wanted the second Robo, the Robo Bay down first. And he is microing his Phoenixes and then going over to build that third. But with double Colossus production, anything that Ghost User builds, as I say that, he goes Hive. Anything apart from going up to Hive, which is probably, to go towards, most likely here, the Viper. But going back to things, is anything he builds right now is very weak against Colossus. Very, very, very weak against Colossus. Very weak against Colossus out of BC. Very weak against double Colossus, more so. Which is what we're seeing out from the German player here. Alright, fourth is going to get spotted. And we have Hydra speed first, then Hydra range, which is always smart to get, and roaches as well. 1-1 upgrades being researched off double engineering bay. Hive been scouted here. It's one of the key points of Phoenix use as well. Is not only are they your harassment, they are 100% your scouting. You need to know what's going on, which is why he was able to scout this Hydra Infestor, this light unit composition to build double sets of Colossus. I think he was expecting Swarm Host though. But upon seeing the Hydras and Roaches, he's probably a little bit confused, but just playing it locked tight on 3 bases, double upgrades coming through.
Oh, actually, I showed it there, but the Twilight Council didn't actually get thrown down. That's actually going to be a really big hiccup if he can't get his 2-2 started on time.
Oh, wow. That's actually quite big. You know, it's for any Terran players like missing your armory, and you obviously know how that feels. And there are the Vipers coming out now. Alright, so Vipers here for a couple of uses. For Abduct, to pull the Colossus into the Roach Hydra army. They're also there for Blinding Cloud, which is a pain in the backside. I've been experiencing that a lot recently and been using it too. It nullifies every range unit completely, which leaves Zealots.
Well, it doesn't nullify them, it makes them melee.
Which is nullifying them.
Yes, yes.
Same
Not
thing,
exactly.
They
still have damage output.
To explain it better, that's what it does. So Viper, of course, the new Heart of the Swarm unit here. Its third ability, as we've seen it there. What's it called again? I haven't got my notes in front of me. Consume. Okay, so what that does is basically eats structure of a Zerg structure and increases its energy. It trades health for energy. And then that's probably what those 2 Evos are for in the middle right there, is to sit back. That's where his reinforcement point is. That's where he's going to be building up his energy for his Vipers. But here comes this moving out, and it is very scary. Yeah, very scary army, this.
Protoss has to be so careful, because if you just start getting your army yanked away, you know, you lose a Colossus here and there, and then all of a sudden you just don't have that big ball of strong units that you need.
I'm very patiently waiting to see how this attack. It's a very strong army. If you look at it, if they pull the Colossus, I said before, Colossus are everything to beat this army. If they're not there anymore, there goes the Blinding Cloud, a pain in the bum, I tell you, because the Stalkers can't attack anymore.
And there goes the upgrade.
And there goes the upgrade. Here come the Colossus probably getting dragged in there. They're not actually getting dragged in yet. He's probably used all his...
yeah, he's used all his energy on Blinding Cloud, so he has no more energy, but still, I think he's trading pretty efficiently. It's so hard to tell. These engagements are so new.
He's trading super efficient. Because he's on 4 bases to 3. He's remade a 200 army again. He's playing...
Didn't lose a single Viper.
Didn't lose a single Viper. Is now consuming these Evo chambers to increase their energy to go again. And that was a strong first wave attack here. And we're going to be seeing wave number 2, but he needs not to lose these units here. This is everything. This is the key focus of this army. Roach Hydra alone is not going to work. With Vipers, yes. And it looks like Ghost Users Zergs have been struggling in Heart of the Swarm for the first set of months within the beta, but Ghost Users coming out very strong here against an opponent I've definitely felt is one of the strong Protoss players in Europe at the moment in this game. He destroyed his Evo chamber there, getting everything out of it.
I love this ability, man. It's pretty
cool, man. Vipers are going to become they're going to become what the Infestors were to support for Williams Liberty. They're so crucial. They'll be used in every matchup all the time. The nullifying of range units and then the abduct, it's incredible. They're really, really strong here. And with fantastic upgrades coming in, we have the Greater Spire on its way as well. Here comes, and it's not multiple weak waves. These are bloody strong, slow waves. Number 2 is making its way forward now. HasuObs has got a 4th up though. He's not dead and gone. He's got bad upgrades, unfortunately, because the forges were destroyed. But here comes this next attack, and, well, he's going to have to go. He does have Storm. And Storm is going to be, and feedback. He can feedback, oh, that's great. He can feedback all of them, actually, if he can actually get close enough. And, well, he does use a couple of blinding clouds there. There comes a time warp. There comes the storms as well. Great storms coming down on every single unit. And despite the Colossus breaking through or coming brought into the army, those storms changed everything. And all of a sudden, Ghost of User just got smacked down and is lower in supply. And that seems to be the weakness of this Zerg army there, was Storm.
Yes.
That's definitely the weakness of that, and HasuObs just exploited it and is now moving across the map, knowing that his opponent is on layer units. That's something that's changed in Heart of the Swarm too, is that Zergs are staying a lot more on layer units aside from like the addition of Vipers or something. But now we are going up to Greater Spy. We will have the transition over to Broodlords, and what we should be starting to see very shortly from HasuObs is the addition of Stargates. He needs to start to play late game unless he thinks he can win the game with the army he's got, with Storm, Stalkers, good upgrades, and Archons and Zealots. So it looks like he may try it in a single attempt to break that down. Dark Shrine is going to be the first use of gas here, which is for harassment onto these pocket expansions that we're going to see spread across the map from Ghost of User. But great defense already set up, anticipating that play, which is very, very common from Wings of Liberty over to Heart of the Swarm. DT, the Dark Shrine now, is 100 gas cheaper than it used to be. 250 gas previously, 150 in this game. And there's the Fleet Beacon coming down. So absolutely going to see the addition of Tempest, Carriers, Void Rays. Shields are going to affect these air units already. And Ghost of User kind of expending his roaches, realizing that they become more and more useless as the game goes on. But you might as well try to do something with them. And that's trying to break through here, do a bit of damage to the probe line. Unfortunately, though, he has queued up against Zealots and then probes. So not the best use there. So, who'd you be favouring if you were to wager right now?
I literally have no idea.
5 base versus 4. Faster late game tech for Ghost User over HasuObs is a bit slower. Stargate tech. Feel HasuObs' army is a little bit weaker at the moment. It's going to be stronger come the next couple of minutes, of course, as the Stargates get added on, the Tempests come into the game. I'd say that Ghost User still rides that advantage.
Yeah, I think the lack of air upgrades is what is giving Ghost User an edge right now. But ultimately, if that massive Tempest ball gets built, then that favors HasuObs. So
HasuObs needs time until he's in the lead. So as we have the Tempest coming out now, good feedback there, great observer position too, and that's one of the weaknesses of the Viper against Protoss here, is that it can get feedback quite easily. Good storm onto the Broodlords, doing a bit of damage there. Good harassment here from HasuObs, and a pylon on that pylon is so crucial up there, and he just needs more time. He definitely wants to reveal the Tempest to try and push this army back. If he reveals a couple of Tempests now, he's got to go back and wait for Corruptors because he has no Corruptors. DTs are broke through onto the space over here. That pylon at the north is so crucial. I cannot stress how crucial that is if that's the main point. And now the Tempests are getting revealed in here. A couple of Corruptors are with the army already, but Storm is going to try and hold this off as much as possible. Oh, that got grabbed. And that gets shut down, and HasuObs needs more time. He needs to buy time here. Great harassment, though, continuing through. Really, really solid death. 23 roaches coming in. That's going to be an interesting little twist in this story, but HasuObs getting pulled in again. Oh, these Tempests are so expensive, guys. They're the same price as a Colossus, and they just get dragged in, and HasuObs isn't getting the time he needs. And as we can see, the Tempests are going to work on these Broodlords, but another one gets pulled forward. The Hydras get into range.
I think Ghost User's losing steam, though.
He is losing steam, man. These Archons are going to be able to break through. He's losing supply. He's lost the hatchery as well at the south.
Yeah, that's a big hit. Lost a lot of workers there. Taking a look, about 40 workers in total killed throughout this entire game, and a really big warp in here in the north. Should get cleaned up by the roaches.
And a complete tech switch here, or a back switch.
A downgrade.
A back switch to Roach Hydra. And this could actually be very smart, because this will overwhelm the small amount of ground force. If those Hydras get underneath the air, you can say sayonara to those guys, that's for sure, especially with their +3 attack. Is it +2 carapace, is the roaches?
Yeah, I believe just 3-2.
Yeah, so 3-2. The amount of DPS from these Hydras is going to be incredible. There's no force fills, there's no crowd control here. He's got limited amounts of side storm. 3 High Templar there, as I just saw. DTs can't really break that through if he sends a lot of DTs at once and Zealots to bring down the Spore Crawler. But he is insta-gimming those DTs, and here comes Gosu User.
Storm's going to be crucial here against the Hydralisk.
Absolutely, and they're in a very vulnerable position to be stormed here, and at the same time they're in a good position to deal damage, but a weak position against storms here, and the Tempests are at the back. There's no Vipers this time, and I'm feeling this for HasuObs. If he gets in there and starts storming this, he's at 180 supply. I think Gosu's an interesting decision to break right into the middle of this, rather than trying to break down the 4th base or something. But you know, he's dropping supply. HasuObs is using the Tempest well. They're taking 3 to 4 shots to kill a Hydra. But as you can see, the Hydra's doing so much damage to the ground.
Yeah, once again in the production tab, just a whack load of units, 20 Hydras, 10 Roaches, and some more Corruptors. But, you know, HasuObs keeps expanding, and he's also doing a great job harassing these bases.
And if he keeps on harassing the bases, the key strength of what Ghost User is trying to do here is high amount of economy, high amounts of units flushing through. But if he keeps on getting harassed here and losing expansions, then of course HasuObs is going to be able to power through with a bigger and stronger army. But remember, at the end of the day, yes, he lost a lot of ground units, but he kept his Tempests alive here. And that's going to be one of the most crucial parts in this later stage for HasuObs here, is he has 4 Tempests alive. Storm stayed alive, the High Templar stayed alive too.
Yeah,
this is a good game. This is a good Protoss vs. Zerg
here.
You know, different technique, different styles, different units, different game.
Less Spine Crawlers.
Less Spine Crawlers, less Infestors, less Broodlords. If anybody watched GSL today, you might be seeing a difference between difference of play style here.
A little bit different.
A little bit different here as we have HasuObs trying to defend his newly taken base. But here come the Vipers again. Got to be very careful against these High Tempo with feedbacks. But of course, these Vipers coming in to bring active forces. The new army tab.
This one isn't new. I think they renamed it, but you can see the army, the value is actually relatively close. So when the Vipers join up, they'll have similarly priced armies, but
he has to keep the Vipers away from the Tempest here. It's going to be very crucial. But a good you know, composition, an all-round composition here from HasuObs. Zealots, High Templar, Archons, Storms, Tempests, Immortals, Mothership Core, kind of everything. This is very difficult for Ghost User to fight against. He's kind of being, how do you counter everything?
Yeah, exactly. And the Vipers haven't shown up yet, so no Binding Cloud, no Abduct, no nothing. And he does kill the Nexus, which is quite big.
That's very, yes. I mean, that was the kind of the goal of that fight there, was obviously not to lose as much as he lost, but the full front plan was to bring that down, which he did. HasuObs will have to rebuild it, and he wants to keep HasuObs' income down, but in that trade-off, he did lose quite a lot in army supply. His income isn't as strong anymore. You know, he's only got 65 workers. His bases are being mined out. He only has his thirds or fourth.
His third
is gone.
That's his fourth. This is his third, which is mined out.
Yeah, so he's got a fourth. He's on roughly 2 bases, which HasuObs is on now as well. So they're equal in terms of bases. And HasuObs is about to take a new one the same time that Ghost User is trying to take the 12 o'clock one. So, you know, this is a little bit bad for Ghost User in terms of economy here, as HasuObs has built that big army. He's got the Void Rays, and with their new addition, with their prismatic alignment ability, which increases their damage for roughly 20 seconds. Is it?
Yes.
Whoa! Look at this Heart of the Swarm caster. Boom! Walla, walla, walla. As the Void Ray is going to be doing this, you know, excess damage against all these roaches that are out there. And DT's going to... Oh, this DT.
This DT's going to do a lot.
This DT is like me on Saturday night when I go to the clubs. I kill everything.
Kill everything.
Whether it be drinks or girls. Alright, so very strong army. 3 upgrades too for HasuObs on his ground army. The Tempest, a fantastic support unit, and now added in the brunt to that, these Void Rays. And then the Archons, just very difficult for anything Corruptors or so to get close. And this is why, as I said, in the early stages where HasuObs shines. When he's able to storm, you know, fight with all these units and use this Void Ray charge and spread his units and just use everything all at once here while harassing at the same time. And through watching his stream, this is where he's become a very strong player at this stage of the game and has a great grasp of the Protoss Heart of the Swarm late game, and this is excellent to see. We are still seeing layer units, though. We've attempted Broodlords, it didn't work out, and it looks like Ghost User, through the lack of economy, isn't willing to go to mass units, Broodlords, and he can't replace them with the money he's got on these mid-level units. And at this level of game, they're not going to...
yeah, I mean, I love the Viper Hydra composition, the mobility, because you have no mobility with Broodlord compositions. Yeah. But I mean, his economy just isn't there. It looks like he will be attacking towards here, but not enough units. Maybe he can push in. Maybe he can set up some kind of flank. But he really, upon losing that north base, really needs to kill this south base.
That's right. I mean, what do you think for... are Zerg missing a viable key in the late stage at this moment, I think?
Yeah,
they're having a strong early mids, but something seems missing from them.
Ooh, so many Vipers going out. I feel like it all comes back to the Viper, and players need more practice using the Viper and seeing how exactly...
what about new Ultralisks?
That's what I was going to say. Maybe Ultralisks fit in well here, especially.
The problem is there's so much...
The Immortals, the Void Rays, the Tempest do massive damage against massive units.
But for me, watching this game right now as a learning guy... I just feel there's something missing from Zerg in this game. I don't know what it is. It just definitely seems that there just is something missing. Whether it be, bringing Infestors in, Neuroparasites, defense against these drops that have slowed him down a little bit. I don't know, but something seems missing. But now HasuObs has this unbeatable army in this game. This army's not getting beaten, which is why we're seeing these runarounds from Ghost User. You can't fight it. Double upgrades coming in from the Cybernetics cores to continue upgrades. And, well, he just recalled back to defend this base. Quite a long recall, that, actually.
Yeah. Like 4 seconds or something, you were sitting there stunned at your Nexus.
Yeah. And, well, looks like Ghost User is going to eventually have to fight this army, and it's not going to be a pretty one.
This Observer has actually been here pretty much all game, just keeping tabs on everything. So useful. And this, I think, may also be one of the factors, just having an Overseer with the army. We saw earlier in the game here a couple good feedbacks go down thanks to a well-placed Observer. Oh, boy.
But this is, how Heart of the Swarm is trying to have its design where Zerg are weaker.
Well, precisely. This is something we've talked about personally a lot, how if Zerg economy grows the fastest, then their endgame unit composition should be the weakest because that's what keeps the balance in the game.
And he was strong in the mid-game. Melis is strong in the mid-game, and they can have a lead there. But once the Protoss and Terran build a big army, it's the same like in Brood War. It becomes too hard now. And unless he has an economy to support waves of units to bring that big army down, which isn't in this game, then it's not going to work. And Ghost User, once again, avoiding this army, does have a decent army himself. And we might have a mobility race here to try and pick off all of the expansions instead of taking a head-on fight. But there's Recall straight into the fight here, and he goes straight into the Nexus, and, well, this fight's going to happen one way or the other. Oh! HasuObs, the big storms come down, and hello, army, goodbye, army. As that was complete annihilation, and not only is the main base gone down for Ghost User, so is his army. And that was beautiful there. Amazing recall from HasuObs. DT's Zealot still harassing, Swarmo's coming in for the sake of it. And this has been a great game. Protoss versus Zerg is becoming, if not already, one of my favorite matchups in Heart of the Swarm to watch. Through watching streams and, competitive games too. This has been a fantastic series. 37 minutes long. Tonight's going to be a bit longer of a night than it was last time, that's for sure.
A little bit longer of a night tonight. But if the games keep up like this, I really enjoy just watching the different unit compositions, particularly Vipers in action.
Definitely. I wonder if Ghost User is going to bring some Swarm hosts to play in the next game. I'm having a feeling that that might be an adjustment he'll make. Or Mutilus play. Depending on the map that he chooses, of course. Maps obviously favor different styles and units depending on how the pathways work and the expansions are laid out and so on and so on. But right now, HasuObs at a good 100 supply roughly lead is denying expansions again and is about to bring down the hammer, the German hammer.
It's kind of interesting because this army here just doesn't look that big to me. I don't know. Void Rays actually did go up in supply to 4, so...
Yeah.
It's deceptive. Maybe I'm just used to seeing 6 Colossus in this army, so it doesn't look as big.
And, well, it looks like Ghost Hughes is going to go in and say, holy crap, probably not a good idea as he runs away. But good game, well played. HasuObs picks up game number 1 of this best of 3. And, well, looking pretty good. And I was confident that he'd be a good showing. Actually, in the announcement video I made, he was, and you know as well, WC, that he was actually one of my favorites to have for day 1. It was just Grubby was a better choice at the time, and still probably was a better choice. But HasuObs was definitely getting into day number 2 no matter what happened. Even if he didn't want to play, I'd make him play. And I'm happy that he's here. But Ghost User now, what do you think he needs to do, to come back?
I mean, when we rewind, remember that game, he opened up losing 2 Overlords. So that whole, and I think that may have been the trigger for him to be like, I'm just going to go Hydra Viper instead of adding in the Swarm Host too. Because when you add in the Swarm Host, then you can actually run away with your Hydras more so than just lose them in battles. So I think if he's a more solid opening, I think he should do fine because he really did play well. I think he controlled his army quite well pretty much all that game.
Yeah, I agree. So happy to see what he's going to do next. So going to jump into map number 2. What's map number 2?
Map number 2 is going to be DF Atlas. This is one of the the GSTL map, man.
What?
GSTL, baby.
Is it new GSTL for this season? Is it for the preseason? I haven't watched the preseason. I watched a couple of them. Maybe I'll know it when I see it, but I don't know by name
You're
yet.
not going to know it when you see it.
Has it been played yet?
Yeah, it's been played. Every GSTL map has been played.
Has it? Guess who's becoming a bad caster?
You've been slacking off.
I've been slacking off, man. I've been playing so much HotS.
It's pretty hard when you try and watch 12 hours of StarCraft and then also play 12 hours of StarCraft.
So much HotS. It's such a fun game. Look how fun that game was we just saw. That was great. So going to be jumping into map number 2 here. Are we going to have, since day 1, a rotating king? Could happen.
It could happen.
That crown's getting shared quite a bit. More so. So is the queen. All right, so going to be jumping into the next map. I'm super bad at jokes all by myself.
You're not alone.
That was actually a good joke. I quite like that.
I spaced out. I was looking at the lobby.
I'm not going to go over it again. You can watch the VOD, which will be on my YouTube after it all finishes. Actually going to get that done tonight. We'll cut some things up and go on YouTube. All right, so jumping into the next map. Oh my god, I haven't seen this map. Wow, it looks like Delta Quadrant from a first perspective. Look at those players, Grandmasters. I played against Grandmaster yesterday in my placements. I lost. Got put in platinum.
Poor Apollo.
Shouldn't have left that league. I was happy, high-flying, sailing with my parrot on my shoulder and a carrot in one hand. That's how I sail. I do like carrots. And I was in top 25 master. My boat said top 25 master and it had the master badge on it. And then I decided to leave the league because of an experiment I was doing, if anyone wanted to know.
That's
not because I got emo with my stats.
Percentage.
All right, so up here in the top left, trailing in this game, it is of course Millennium's user Bowser.
His name does look a bit like Bowser.
I suppose so. And down here, the mighty German, it is Now Sports HasuObs can beat up Apollo. Always a punching guy and a sad dead face. Super consistent Protoss though is actually very accurate. Not a high finishing Protoss player outside of Germany.
He never gets made to look like a fool, but he never really gets that big win.
I think he had like a second place IM finish in like 2011, like a couple of years back.
Great.
Yeah, but that's like one of his biggest things in the international scene.
It's so tough to be consistently good in the international scene.
But he's 100% top 32, top 16 player at the majority of tournaments, always. So we'll see how he's going to play in this game with a 1-0 lead here. Remember, this is a best of 3 for $125.
All right, in the meantime, I'll give you a little rundown of this map.
All right, yeah, go on.
You've got your main base.
Yeah, main base.
Main base.
Yeah.
Natural down the
got
right,
an arrow,
of course. There's an arrow
natural.
if you couldn't find it if you're new to the map. And then so you've got this raised plateau here.
Yeah.
And this is a third base you can take.
Is that your third, your natural third, or is the...
Or you can take this one down here.
It's similar to Akalon Waste.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And then so you've got a couple different large ramps leading here.
So you got 2 ramps going towards that top third, and what have you got towards the bottom third? 1 ramp from your natural and 1 big open area.
Yeah.
Go down. Then I don't.
Then
Oh,
leading
that's
into
why.
here.
Oh, there's rocks.
And there's some rocks here too, so...
It's still very wide open. This looks like a bit of a nightmare map, really, for Protoss. Go to that pocket third again. Oh,
Well,
that's not too bad, actually. It's
You
just
wall off here, and then you kind of keep your
we got
army
3
here.
ramps, haven't you?
Yeah, we'll see how it plays. It should
But you
be
can wall
interesting.
off with those 2 front ramps and use the south ramp to get access to your 4th, if you get what I mean, and then come out from here.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how
I
things
really
develop.
have no idea. Also worth noting is that this is not cross only. We did get cross locations. But then, of course, you may want to adjust your expansion pattern.
A big old map, though. We are seeing a similar opening here from HasuObs, Double Stalker into Mothership Core, a rush that's become very strong for early harassment versus Terran and versus Zerg. Not so much against Protoss. But on the other hand, we have gas being taken very early.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's adjusting quite well. His link speed will be finishing much faster.
And it's just, we've only had 1 game being played between these 2 players with a Terran flag. A Terran flag.
They all have Terran flags, so...
All the new GSTL maps, all the all flags on this.
Oh, just this map, man.
Good scout, and I'm sure that Ghost Use is very happy about scouting this too, because he's like, well, lucky I got speed then. And there's the animation you talked about that comes out from the top of the Nexus, like a mothership itself has been made in Wings of Liberty. And he kind of is going to have speed. He's researching speed. He's still in gas.
Ooh.
So unless he just turns this around from a defense into counterattack, and we saw Ghost User play a similar technique versus the Muslim, where he sets up a defense and then goes for a massive counterattack, which he very well could be doing here, especially against a weakened Protoss if they lose their initial stalkers that move out here. But HasuObs isn't moving out. It's just gateway into expansion. The benefits of going gateway expansion rather than the downside of it is that you have faster tech. You now can go gateway timings. You can open up faster Robo, faster Stargate, much faster. And obviously the downside of it is that you have hurt your economy a little bit here, because you would have already had your Nexus up and running, and so on and so on. But we do have layer and 3 gases being taken. I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon and just say, straight to Mulus here.
I'm going to say straight to Swarm Host.
Yeah?
I feel like he may be doing a very similar build to what we saw out of TLO last time played against Grubby, and Grubby hard countered it pretty hard, but HasuObs might not
that
do the
kind
same.
of play, I've used it, actually, after watching TLO use it, I use it myself. It's very, very, very strong against Stargate openings.
Well then, so we've got now the Mothership Core did see the layer, so that may have an impact.
And the reason why it's strong against Stargate openings is because you don't have detection, unless you use the Oracle. And you obviously want to be going up to Colossus. You need the splash damage.
Yep.
And you're taken away from going up to Colossus because you've gone Stargate. So add those 2 things together, it becomes a bit of a pain. So we'll see what HasuObs is going to build. Spire. Ha!
Ha! Fine.
Ha!
You win, mate.
I didn't win. I didn't say it was going to be Spire. I just didn't know what it was going to be. I didn't want to guess. So Spire play coming in. HasuObs now, all of a sudden, is in better shape. But that's because Ghost User didn't know that he'd opened Stargate. So if he knew that, maybe he would have opened in Swarm Host. But in this turnaround of things, is that Phoenix is a hallucinated Phoenix to begin with. We'll try and find out what that layer tech is for. Is it Infestation Pit? Is it Spire? And is he going to spot?
He sure is.
Well, that kind of sucks, doesn't it?
I love so much seeing players do this, but this is kind of unfortunate
This is unlucky.
placement.
Very unlucky. Great harassment on that third. This is very unlucky, actually. And the robotics facility now becomes useless and not needed. And we'll see him keep it alive, of course. He won't just cancel it. But he should be going complete Phoenix now.
And look at that.
They start with a range higher. I did it last time. So it's range 5 now over 4.
Yes.
And of course the upgrade still gives them 2, so they range higher again because they start initially higher. And then with +1 attack on the way, we're going to see a very dominant HasuObs smack this down. Has the Changeling seen the Stargate? Yes. And a Hydra Den's down. He's not even going to build Mutalisk, he's just straight switching out. Straight switching. Seen it? Mind games. Hashtag mind games. Coming out here. And this is actually a nice read from Ghost User. Good scout. Lucky scout too, because these Phoenixes were seconds away from killing every Overlord outside of the main base. Here.
Well, they still kind of did that.
but an Overseer morph before that.
Yeah,
which
true.
is the point I was trying to get to. Adabisi. Abadeezy. So it looks like he's just going over to what he did before, but now we have all these Phoenixes out, which aren't going to beat Mulus, but without Sword Crawlers down, they're going to beat the drones, and they're going to beat the queens, and they're going to beat the overlords, so it's kind of a win-win situation here, but he doesn't want to stay too heavy on Phoenixes, stopping now and cancelling +1. If he realises Mulus not coming, he should already be going up to Robotics Bay, but that's because Dennis, whatever his last name is, I forgot it already. Schneider?
I think it starts...
Dennis Schneider
Maybe.
Does not know about the lack of Mulus, but he will soon because he won't see them. And this is where things could really sting for him. He's now going over there. He's like, it's still there, but there's a Hydra Den. And I wonder if he'll cancel +1 or will he just let... He's only got 5 seconds left. He doesn't really need the gas. He'll probably just leave it.
Yeah,
But
I mean, for the late game, it's not too
definitely Robobay has to come down. It has to come down. Now. It has to, because he's going to be in so much trouble. There it is.
Go.
And now he's starting to figure out what's going on. So this is very smart play from both sides here. A lot of mind games, a lot of intelligent play, thinking about what each other are doing, looking, more importantly, for what each other are doing. But HasuObs has still got this weapon in the palm of his hand, which is these Phoenixes with +1. They're doing a lot of damage. They've killed 14 drones. They've killed a lot of overlords. But there is a very specific time out of BC with range coming and Hydra speed done. He's weak until the Colossus are out, which is why he hasn't taken a third. He's basically saying, I am weak. I'm not going to expand too fast. I'm going to try and get Colossus out first. And then I can try to defend it. So this is what Ghost User is going to go for. Straight going over towards the Hive ready for Vipers to pull in the Colossus, which are going to be the weakness of the Hydras. 2 Hydras get isolated, actually. And another 2, really good micro. A little bit sloppy from Ghost User, or I guess his pathing of the AI, maybe not looking properly, go around that rock instead of all together as one. But HasuObs does bring him back again. Unfortunately, that Overlord got sniped, and now the Spy is going to die until Creep gets there, but he's going to poke in again. It's quite a good game, this. A very intelligent game. Even though there's not a lot of action, if you look at all the small details that are going into it, it's quite a cool game, this one.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. Ultimately, the Hive, once again, before any Swarm Host, so I wonder if he'll go back into Swarm Host or just kind of play once again straight into Vipers.
Yeah, I mean, his upgrades are aligned with Swarm Host, so they very well could come into play. But he's definitely looking at Vipers now, and he's looking for a very similar attack to previous. And it wouldn't surprise me if HasuObs reads into this again and identifies what was weak, because it was probably one of the first times he'd been exposed to not that kind of composition, but that attack like that early, that he didn't have Storm fast. So what I'm thinking from HasuObs is as soon as he takes his gases on his third, we're going to see quite a fast Templar Archives here, knowing that Storm is so valuable and is one of the most important spells for Protoss to use in Heart of the Swarm, because Colossus are rendered not ultimately useless, but are brought down in terms of their value now. They're still 6 supply. They're big, chunky, expensive units, which don't maximize their efficiency anymore because of Vipers. There's nothing to bring down. Corruptors can try to get in there, but Storm and Stalkers can bring them down really easy, and then these, Phoenixes. But Vipers just so fast, dart in there, pull them out.
Yep.
And they don't have to kill them, they just pull them out, and the rest of the units do the damage. So it looks like HasuObs on the same wavelength as me here, luckily, and happily, makes me look cool. He's gone for Templar Archives.
Very solid. Nice SimCity as well, too, kind of as you suggested, leaving a few cannons, just in general, so this is kind of where he's going to be.
Yeah, that's his reinforcement point, for sure. His 4th base is definitely at the 3 o'clock here, the way that the expansions work. And nice harassment again. And that's really, really nice. I mean, what's that, 20 probes, 20 drones now? 21? It's really nice, that is. Considering that the Phoenixes were only added on in anticipation for Mutilus there. So he's actually getting a lot of money from making them. But here are the Vipers. And we're going to see once again Ghost User try to bring these Colossus into the range of these Roach and Hydras. Storm is on its way. Hallucinated Phoenix getting in there nice and early. See the Hive anticipating the addition. But a very early 4th for HasuObs considering the circumstances, and that's not too good for Ghost User. Can't be just letting that 4th being taken so easily, considering he hasn't even taken a 5th of his own yet. So that will make him move out soon. He's not just going to give that away for free without taking a fight. His upgrades are starting to align. +2 just finished. His Vipers have enough energy. The Broodlords are ready as well. Unfortunately, one of the weaknesses of going for missile attacks so early on is that the Broodlings don't have upgrades, attacking upgrades here, unfortunately. But good scouting here from HasuObs. Consistent scouting. Now sees this army. Is trying to wall off this area to take a 4 from successfully taken. We're going to see a fight here. Storm is seconds away from completing, and there's quite a few Storms available, 6 in total. Ghost User's weakness is Storm and feedbacks here, but he is going to deny the 4th, which is what I said is very, very important to do. And this is very good for Ghost User, but now HasuObs will take a fight here for sure. Oh, good Storm. Really good Storm there. First Storm goes down. Viper's held at the back there. The Phoenixes may go all the way around to swing around and try and get into them, actually. Good time walk to slow these units down. They're coming in, and they're looking for the Vipers. And here comes a couple of feedbacks, and Storm's coming down, and the Colossus do not get pulled in. And look at that, Blinding Cloud does go down onto this army. A great fight between both players, and it looks like HasuObs keeping the Colossus alive, will bring this army down here. And what a great fight from HasuObs. I think the Micro, once again, his strong ability to be able to use all these forces, use all these armies, he dismantled that. And now he can go and take this 4th. That army was there to destroy the 4th, and in sacrifice, he would have to take a fight in destroying and cancelling that 4th. But HasuObs destroyed that. If you look at the units lost tab, he destroyed that easily. And that is efficiency at its best there. And now we have Tempest and Easy 4th coming in. And this is why I wanted HasuObs in this tournament, because I knew he'd bring us good games like this. And this is really cool to see. And
so it's amazing watching these Phoenix, just one additional range, and of course not as many infestors in play, just constantly all game long you can use these to harass.
And, you know, this, I think, you know, Grubby said it, with Heart of the Swarm and with all the new abilities, with the new fighting technique, because a lot of players that play Wings of Liberty with 2 hotkey groups may start to struggle, because unless you have good mouse control, which obviously HasuObs does, as we saw it there, because he doesn't have the Phoenixes on a separate hotkey. They're just being moved around by his mouse and, you know, keeping them around. So that's really interesting, actually, to see that. And to see how cool he took that fight. But going back to that point being made, Grubby said in an interview in Brazil that this feels more like his game. I don't think it just means for Grubby. I think it means for a lot of good Warcraft 3 players are going to have a lot more good results in this game. You know, the Muslim has been playing well. HasuObs is playing well. You know, Thorzane, Sase are playing well. All Warcraft 3 players. So we'll see how this continues through Heart of the Swarm. Remember, this is still just the beta. The game's not released for another good couple of weeks. But this is, you know, absolutely fantastic to see, and it, you know, increases the skill level of the game if there's more stuff to do and more units to micro all at once. And we'll see how that continues through. But we do have the Dark Shrine coming in to continue harassment. Tempests are being made. These Phoenixes, without infestors, there's nothing to pin them down. There's nothing to stop them. They'll just jolt in and jolt out. And I'm having fun watching this game. I'm becoming a true nerd here, just dribbling over this play. Really, I am. I'm really enjoying this series, actually. The first series was a little bit faster, a little bit cleaner. Not as entertaining as this one. I feel this one is a lot cooler because it's Heart of the Swarm. It's everything we want, man. Yeah,
it just feels so much different than the ZVP we're used to watching.
Yeah. Alright, so 3-3 on the way now for HasuObs. Ultra's Cavern is coming down. Again, that was something that we talked about in the previous series. Is that the missing link to having a couple of them mixed in with the rest of the units? If you put Blinding Cloud on and then get the Ultralist to go in there, you know, there are combinations that we haven't properly experienced and had the full grasp of yet in Heart of the Swarm, and something we could be seeing here as the Ultralists are now being upgraded with the melee attack, the plating for their armor, and then their +3 armor in itself. Looking to go up to +5 armor, +3 attack. But HasuObs now going to looking to take a 5th very shortly. Is the rotation of expansions, trying to build a kind of new to StarCraft, is you kind of take your 4th as your main is being mined out, and you kind of take your 5th when your natural is getting close to main out. So ultimately, you're always mining from at least 3 bases, maybe 4 just for gas, which is the rotation of expansions that HasuObs is leaning towards here, and every Protoss does. And always Zerg is looking to be at least one base ahead of a Terran or Protoss here, which is what GhostUse is trying to do, and HasuObs is trying to prevent with DT Zealots running around the map, trying to bring this economy down, because GhostUse, unlike the previous game, has a big army and has a big bank and a lot of money around here. So, well, you got 6. How many gateways we at? Use that structure.
How many gateways?
Yeah.
31 pylons, 8 gateways.
That's not a lot of gateways, really. But I guess he is focused a lot more on air and robotics facility
6
units.
hatcheries.
DT there. Good spines and spores on these bases. Is making that addition from the previous game. But very shortly, we're going to see these two giants, these two different worlds collide as one. And we're going to have a winner at the end of it, most likely. Or we could see an equal fight, but right now HasuObs taking a 5th very comfortably. It seems like a pretty cool map, actually. You know, a lot of run-bys available, good space, good distance, and it looks like we're going to see a fight here as GhostUse is going to start to break his way through a lot of Tempest here. They're going to be almost one-shotting these Brutalists if he can just get the vision. They will be almost one-shotting them, the amount of Tempest that there. He doesn't quite have the vision to use that Tempest range. GhostUse breaks through again into this this base, but now the Tempests have range, but not for long if the Phoenixes stay there, and for once HasuObs messes up the Phoenixes and they die fast. The Tempests get a couple of shots on, bring one Broodlord down, and that 5th base is broken. And this time, compared to the earlier fight, GhostUse lost nothing there, really. And he even took down Phoenixes, so really good trade there by GhostUse. But that 5th will establish itself once again. 6 Vipers coming in to start to drag these long-range units into short-range distance. And, of course, use the addition of Blinding Clouds. And this game going on, looking more and more like Brood War as the games go on. These long, drawn-out games. 47-odd minutes for the first game, 26 now already. And this game doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon. Oracle's coming in. There's only a single spore on every expansion, I think, and a lot of spines. A couple of oracles can do a lot of damage to these expansions, so we'll see. Combined with DTs as well, +3 attack on the way for the air, +3 shields too. Oh no, +2 shields. Recall comes in and they just about get in there, and doesn't quite save the Nexus, but does get in there to kill the army off. And that was only a small army, so the recall not that valuable.
Yeah, really good trade there, because GhostUse, he was maxed out, and now you can see replacing all those units with 20 Corruptors, in fact, in production, so...
GhostUse is playing very well in this game, man.
Yeah, I mean, arguably, I think the only thing he may be lacking is maybe a second Spire for multiple upgrades, but otherwise, really doing a great job.
He has, you know, a bit of weakness down at the south part. 2 Immortals go through infinite amount of Spine Crawlers, and that base is going to go down, so a counter victory there for HasuObs, who loses his 5th for the second time but does destroy another base. And in the top right, 2 Oracles, I think, maybe... No, 2 Changelings. Sorry, I thought they were 2 Oracles saying. But either way, we're about to have through Envision.
Oh, great use of the Oracle.
Is it Envision? Tell me, is it Envision?
It's whatever it is, man.
Whatever it is.
It's revealed.
Revealed. So it's revealed coming down off from the Oracle. Actually, that's what it was used for, not so much the harassment. And now those units will be revealed, hence the name, for 60 seconds.
Yeah, 60 in-game seconds.
60 in-game seconds, a full minute now. And Envision, sorry, is for the detection. My mishap there. Bit of a wasted use of Abduct there, but either way, HasuObs setting up, moving north, but his south is weak, and that is where GhostUse is with his units. Does GhostUse go back to defend his expansions, or does he march forward to bring down a 5th? And he says, well, I've got 5,000 gas in the bank. I'll site my bases if I bring yours back. And so they're going to trade bases here, and then eventually they'll both go back to fight. I doubt they'll continue to clockwork their way around to the other expansions. And I think GhostUse is going to be heading back towards a fight here after killing this expansion, because he's got a lot of money in the bank. He doesn't know how much HasuObs has, so that's what his trade is looking for here. But there's a lot of storm. Where's GhostUse? Is he going back?
Looks like he's just pushing onward.
Onward forever. And he's going to pick off another base, and this is just the 3rd base, so it's not too many minerals there anyway. And we'll see how this is going to work. We can see them both working anti-clockwise at the moment, moving around, looking to pick off these bases, but eventually the armies will have to meet here. It's when do either of them decide to come back? Do they meet in the middle? Do they not come back here? Remember, HasuObs has recall at any point to go straight back to a Nexus to take a fight if he sees it fit. But HasuObs, after destroying 2 bases, is going to head back here. HasuObs knows that he's coming back, obviously, because his base has not been attacked anymore and needs to set up position. Needs to get everything ready to take a fight. HasuObs has done significant damage to the drone line, only 35 remaining, and now a couple of preemptive storms to keep the army from just surging in. And now we're going to see the spacing of both these armies fight. Or does HasuObs go back to his not main Nexus, but his expanding at the top right and sit on a Nexus here? Use Photon Overcharge. Play from a defensive standpoint with cannons. It looks like that's what he's seeming to aim for rather than taking a direct engagement in the middle of the map. And that's what's going to happen here. And well, it looks like HasuObs is going to have to go up this area. And all his units are going to be cut. This means Storm's going to be very vulnerable. Blinding Cloud comes down. And a couple of Tempests. Oh my god, all the Tempests, all the Costs get dragged in. Likewise, Storm going down here. I have absolutely no idea who's winning this fight, but Storms are doing a lot of damage here. Broodlords seem to be in the sky still. So are the Corruptors. The supply tells me that HasuObs is losing, and seeing the Broodlords and Corruptors remain alive likewise does that. And what a fight from HasuObs. Ripped all of the Tempest, ripped all of the Colossus out of the sky, and then this army remains alive. But HasuObs with a good amount of units, not the highest amount of gateway production as we pumped out before. He's only at like 10 gateways or 12 gateways, so he can't build a lot of gateway units. 14, decent. But where is he going to put his money?
Yeah, I mean, look at his unit composition, pure stalker, and this actually kind of reminds us.
But this is mobility stalkers. This is not army stalkers. This is for picking off expansions. While this immobility, slow death march is heading his way, but he needs time. Again,
5 Void Rays at a time right now.
If he is able to get to like 10 Void Rays, the Hydra's there with +3, even at 10 Void Rays. The Corruptors can abduct. I mean, the Vipers can abduct the units into the Hydras. There's Corruptors in there. We've got upgrades, 2-1 upgrades. Even if he was, he's warping in 4 High Templar for Storms. The game is coming to a slow and painful end here, I feel. I don't think HasuObs has the time. Definitely doesn't have the time. I don't think he's going to have the army either. But great use of these Stalkers. I really like that decision to say, okay, he's coming for me. He can't defend. The Hydras are going home. This could be, with Storm and Void Rays, using their new overcharge on the Corruptors, possible. Maybe. Infestors come to defend with Infested Terrans. HasuObs, he's got to fight soon. He's going to go up there. I definitely got to... The Stalkers are going to run away, but this fight's going to happen here any second. HasuObs, where is his Void Rays?
It looks like he's actually just pieced out, and he's just going to let everything die and head on over here. He knows that his opponent is basically on no income. I think he's not aware yet. Doesn't know about that mining base.
Oh, that's a pain. 14 to 15 probes, drones. Is HasuObs going to tie this series up? HasuObs is trying to build one last army. Good Storm could go down here. 1 Storm needs to go down here. 2 Storms go down. The Void Rays can actually clean everything up. Loses a single High Templar. Good trade-off there for those Hydras. 88 supply to 106 right now. Very, very close between these 2 players. And the Broodlords, though, going to be a pain. But it's to be honest, it's not the Broodlords which is the pain. The Broodlords will die versus the Void Rays. But it's the Corruptors and Vipers that are in the way. There's no Hydras left. All those Hydras have died to the Stalkers now. So, 5 High Templar. If they bank enough time and get 2 Storms each, couple of feedbacks, 2 Storms each. If they get enough energy, if they can max out energy, combined with 5 Stalkers, charged up Void Rays, Time Warp, Time Warp doesn't really work. I actually made that mistake last broadcast. Doesn't work versus air, but HasuObs knows that High Templar are going to be vulnerable, are going to be his vulnerable point, so he needs to go soon. And he's going back. That base in the south has not been found, and it's all going to come down to, can the Storms combined with the Void Rays work? Here comes Storm. These Corruptors are taking a bit too much damage here out of BC. Another Storm comes down, and if those Corruptors go down, there's nothing. There is nothing to protect the Broodlords.
I don't think he can actually take this fight anymore. I mean, 13 Corruptors against 7 Void Rays and 5 Templar.
The Stalkers can pick off a couple of Corruptors here, but at the same time, they don't want to die. They drag them into the Storm. Oh, and they gets hit by a Storm again. Doesn't really want to get the Void Rays dragged in, and they do get dragged in. Great Viper uses there. Storm's going down again, but now the High Templar are dead. The high tempo are dead. There's only 3 Void Rays, and it looks like HasuObs in the end battle here with a minute detailed unit, small amount of units has won the fight, and now no longer does HasuObs have anything to bring down these Corruptors. He has 2 Void Rays and 4 Stalkers left in the unit tab. He does have a base in the top right, but HasuObs, through those set of small fights, have just stamped a flag in HasuObs' eye. He's put him down on the ground, has got his little French/American flag, because he's in France right now, and put it in his eye, and it looks like he's going to pick up game number 2. What a great series this is turning out to be. And HasuObs has 40 supply against this 84. The Corruptors and Broodlords remain untouched. No ground army can beat this, only air. And he only has 4 Void Rays. And 4 Void Rays isn't enough. And the Void Rays are going to do a bit of counter-attack damage. HasuObs looking for any way that he can win this game to clean out HasuObs, because HasuObs in this game showed that he can very easily take this series in game number 3. Very easily if he plays as well as he did here.
I start to wonder if it's possible for him to just win an elimination race. He's going to take this base out, and then what do we have? Just buildings in the main base. This is still possible. This is still...
There's drones. There's 700, 800 minerals. It can't be possible. He can just
19 drones.
It can't be possible. The Broodlords are protecting everything. He can build Spore Crawlers and have them walk with his army, and they cannot be touched.
Yeah.
HasuObs obviously is looking for every possible opportunity to win this game. The probability, he doesn't know, obviously very low. But he's obviously doesn't know how many drones there are, how many hatcheries there are. And HasuObs, at the end of the day, HasuObs can keep 3 Broodlords out of 11, 5 Broodlords out of 11, 3 Corruptors out of the 6, and move out with the rest and just go search the army down. And that's what HasuObs is banking for. Remember, there's $125 on the line here, and not just that, is that if HasuObs wins, that's $250 banked.
You mean if
HasuObs wins, he gets the $225 and gets the opportunity to play in the next game, which obviously gets another chance to get another $125. HasuObs gets the chance to fight for that $250. But our next opponent, if you didn't know, while HasuObs tries to work out what to do, is going to be Hyun. And it has been a long night, and I feel a little bit sorry for these guys. And it's like 5 or 6 a.m. in Korea. But at least if they're late, they'll turn up on time. But Hyun is playing next between these 2 guys. But very long games here. GG call. HasuObs realizes he can't do it. And 1-1 apiece here. Very good series. I'm on the edge of my seat over here. Very good series.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed this series. Game 3 will be next. I'm predicting we'll see Cloud Kingdom. That's my prediction. Find out
from HasuObs. Cloud Kingdom, you think? He's been playing a lot of HotS, so I'm not necessarily going to pick Cloud, but we'll find out. So thanks, guys, for tuning in once again. This is, of course, day 2 out of 4. And it will be on respectively this Sunday, day 3, and next Thursday for day 4. So mark those down. Unsure of exactly the time. It'll either be 7 or 8 p.m. European time, 10 or 11 Pacific time. But we're about to jump into map number 3 now. What map is it? Because I heard you load in.
It will be Newkirk, so you nailed it, my friend.
I thought he'd... Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, I think, because he has been playing a lot of HotS. He has had a lot of success on the new map, so I think that's a good solid pick there from HasuObs. So we'll jump into the game as soon as we can, and we'll find a conclusion of this best of 3 series before jumping into Quantic's new addition to the team. Quantic, did the STC leave, or is he's still with them?
The STC is now with Complexity.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, the transfer. Yeah, when Complexity died.
When Quantic originally disbanded.
But Hyun is a brilliant addition.
Yeah, he's a fantastic player. I think he's kind of beloved, I want to say, by a lot of people.
Yeah, he's sick. He's really, really good. And
not only, apart from
the Russian... Oh, you picked the wrong race.
Yeah, I picked the wrong race.
Apart from the Russian whatever league it is.
RSL.
Star League, I'm going to guess that means. Russian Star League.
Yeah.
Apart from that, that's the only Wings of Liberty thing he's playing in. I don't even know if he won today against Titan. Because those groups are with, it's like groups of 3 with...
groups of 3 with best of 5s.
So it depends if he beat Titan or not, whether he's through most likely. So I don't know his results, obviously, because he was playing as we we're doing this. But if he's out of that tournament, if he lost to Titan, then he's 100% HotS now because he requalified for... That's so loud every time and you can't change it. When I'm streaming, I have the game sounds turned low, and then as I win a game, which happens rarely, it goes woof, and it's really, it scares you. It scares the stream. Either way, what was I saying? So yeah, he might be 100% HotS right now. Hyun, who requalified for KOTH, is in the KOTH Heart of the Swarm. So.
Yeah, exactly. His number one focus is going to be GSL, so...
Probably won't stick on wings just for this Russian Star League.
Nah, man, I don't think so. He is a beast when it comes to playing on these European online tournaments. Nobody else has played in as many as him. He's crazy. Yeah.
You might want to give him a message and be like, hey man, I know this is going really long. Sorry about that, but don't go anywhere because you've got to play next. All right. Load in, ADBC. Let's do it, man. Put me in. All right, so $125 on this single game. We're about to find out who's going to be the winner. It's currently one apiece between HasuObs and HasuUser. HasuUser being the opportunity guy in this this series. Is if you look at on paper, HasuUser, HasuObs, Supernova, and Hyun, who's the weakest link there? You put things together and. He's in the second series right now, fighting to win 2 games in a row to see if he can be king for 2 games in a row, bank himself $250, and face off in a Zerg vs. Zerg against Quantix Hyun. So we're now jumping into the next game as I can hear it loading in, my favorite sound. I have actually had dreams with this sound.
Really?
Have you? I played a lot of StarCraft, man. Of course I have. I've had dreams of everything StarCraft related.
Yeah, I know. A lot of StarCraft dreams.
Dude, because, so, this is a relatively late-ish tournament for me personally, because I go to bed. I'm a sleeper at 12. I'm a farmer, guys. I go to bed
You're
at 1.
not up till 5 a.m. like me.
No, and I wake up early. And because I was casting to Muslims games, I went to sleep almost like half an hour after the show finished last time. And all I could think about while dreaming and sleep, I didn't sleep well. I was going over the Muslims game. And I just couldn't get out of my head. I was like waking up and being like, it happens. It's like nightmare/dream. Either way, let's jump in. So, down here in the bottom left, I think, is HasuObs, Dennis Snyder, Mouse HasuObs on Twitter, captain of StarCraft 2 in the Mouse Sports division. And down here in the bottom right, HasuUser already won 1 game today against a Muslim and is currently 1-1 against HasuObs here. HasuUser with remarkable performances recently. And it would be very good for him and Millennium as well. Millennium building a strong team in Heart of the Swarm with HasuUser, 4GG as well. 4GG, a pretty good Terran actually, is performing quite well, quite high on the ladder as well.
Yep.
And again, we have the Gateway, potentially. Could be also be Forge, but Gateway inside the main base from Mr. HasuObs. But talking about teams, Mouse Sports pretty strong too. Not as strong as they always used to be. Still got mana. Got the new edition of Illusion. Hero Marine could one day sprout into a fantastic Terran player. And he's playing a lot as well.
And who else do they have?
Protosser.
There you go.
There we go. And haven't seen too much of him in Heart of the Swarm. Was, kind of low-mid pro in Wings of Liberty. Nothing higher than round of 32, really, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Probably. Could be wrong, but... Maybe he's done something in because he's from Finland, maybe something just a Finnish tournament. But not the highest tier of play. But overall, Mouse Sports always had good performances from their team. And I'm sure we'll see a lot more from Millennium. Does HasuUser live with 4GG in the Millennium Gaming House then?
I'm not sure if 4GG still lives in the house.
He lives in France though.
Oh, I guess he does then. So they must live together. So
but they don't... Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Dragon live in France?
No, he's not on Millennium anymore. He's on MYM now.
MYM have got a StarCraft 2 team now.
Yeah.
Again.
I
remember their first team.
Artosis was on it?
Artosis was on it. Cloud was on it. There was a couple of others as well. Artosis played in Intel Extreme Masters 210.
Yep. I still remember. Every time you go to that Wikipedia page of Artosis, you see that picture of him.
That's right.
It's a good-looking guy.
Stalker on its way again. A bit of harassment here from HasuObs into... This seems to be his, go-to build.
I hope this Overlord
doesn't
die.
get sniped again. It should be fine. It can go behind there, yeah. It's fine. Stalker's, yeah, it'll get away.
There's a little indicator from Heart of the Swarm.
Indicator from Heart of the Swarm. Sees where it's going. Speed on the way very early. And I think it's going to be okay. It's with the second Stalker, it's not, but it should be okay. I'm calling it okay.
I just don't know.
I'm calling it okay, man.
calling
Don't
it
argue.
dead.
How much you bet?
Not a lot.
I'm calling it dead.
Not betting a lot. You dead?
Even Scrift knew it was going to die. And, I mean, this is just... that's bad news.
That's what Ghosties just did. Because he didn't think it'd die either. And very wow.
That's a super duper fast lane
And
right
that's
there, my friend.
a scout too. Imagine if he cancels it and goes all in. Hashtag ManGames. I got to squeeze a couple of them in there, Adabise. I know you don't like him, but I do. Very, very fast layer coming out. Forge gateway down as well. Just defensive play from HasuObs. Going to poke around with the Mothership Core. There's nothing that can stop it. Queens obviously can't go off creep. So it can do what it chooses. But incredibly fast layer here. I wonder if this is the time that he brings out the Swarm Host Baneling play or something like that, you know? Whoa.
Interesting. Cancel all 3 gas.
Well, it's not...
And the Mothership Core is going to pop in now, so we'll see what his building placement is going to be.
He's
And
like
now
started his gas again.
Now he's taking another, so I think maybe some indecision or just some
I wasn't
self-mind
watching
games.
really closely. I'm not sure if he was supply blocked and just used
No,
that.
it didn't look like a supply check.
Well, that
I'm
was
pretty
weird,
sure.
and I don't know why that happened. The only reasonable explanation is that he changed his mind with what he was going to do and just goes and takes a third instead of going 2 base tech. So, whatever. As the Overseer is going to go in, very early Overseer, going to be able to go in and spot the Stargate, hopefully here, which is hidden at the back. The Changeling going to go in here and have a look for it. It should get there unless HasuObs picks it off with a probe. And it is going to see it, so nice scan. Not scan, but Scout. And on the natural, we did have a bit of a poke with a couple of lings there, but didn't really do anything, as the third base is about to be scouted here and harassed from HasuObs, as game number 3 gets itself underway here, with the Roach Warren down. Still no evolution chambers, which is rather surprising, considering that we will have +1 starting soon for HasuObs after he builds a couple of units, but he is building the Void Ray first. Wait a minute, did he cancel that?
Void Ray?
Did it finish? No,
I didn't
it's
see a
finished.
Void Ray.
No, he did have a Void Ray in the production tab. I swear to God. Don't question, he had it in the production tab.
Possibly.
He did. And he cancelled it and beat the Phoenix. Don't question me at a BC.
I know when the Changeling scouted Phoenix was in production. I know that much.
Definitely Void Ray was there, but then he cancelled it. +1 is on the way though. Hydralisks are down and being built. No upgrades either yet from Ghost User. And no scout likewise from HasuObs. There's the first Evo coming down, and also the Hydra range. Phoenix is now going to make their way through, and it's going to be very important and valuable information if HasuObs can pick up that there are Hydras in this game early.
Yeah, and he should be able to. Actually, it's at the natural, not the main, so we'll see. But I think these guys are going to make their rounds.
You don't harass with 2 Phoenixes. You scout, so...
Yeah.
And he should see them.
And you maybe die.
Yeah, and he does see them. So, Robo coming down. Of course, we want to go straight over to Robotics Bay very shortly. And we'll see how fast he wants to take his third out. I'm feeling that he'll slow it down again like he did in the previous games. And the base he'll want to take is the triangular base. Once again, this middle base here. And fortify that up. There's that big city building in the way, which makes it really nice to engage and defend around.
There you go.
Yeah. But we do have +1 attack on the way. With just +1 attack on the way, no carapace, of course these Hydras are going to be very, very weak in direct fights. Another Void Ray. Second Void Ray in the production tab. Will he build it this time? And the Void Ray here, the reason for the Void Ray is very much so to protect his third. It's not so much for aggression. I mean, how can he be aggressive with a Void Ray when his Hydra's out? It's going to be to help protect his third base against roaches, lings, whatever. And with that single Void Ray, he'll start to move out to take his third, I feel, even before the Colossus is ready. So he doesn't want to fall too far behind in economy here, because every second that he isn't expanding, he's falling behind in terms of catching up with what Ghost User has rolling here. And Spire down too.
Only 3 gateways right now.
3 gateways. He will move down very shortly here.
Yep.
Very, very shortly. Spire though on its way. And that can be for a multiple of things. I feel like it's more for Corruptors though this time. I don't think it's useless. It doesn't make too much sense. It feels Corruptors because he'll want to bring down the Phoenixes. He'll want to bring down the Colossus, which he knows is definitely going to be happening when you open up Hydra like this. And, well, HasuObs should be moving down. Like, he could have moved down a bit earlier, but is playing it safe until he has Colossus on the way. And that Void Ray will be very helpful in protecting this third. Pylon coming down. Infestation Pit also coming down, so we could see Hive quite early. So we could see Corruptors being built for Wave 1. Could see Vipers being built for Wave 2 once the Hive is complete. No creep spread from Ghostly users, we can notice. That it's kind of a downfall of his play.
Yeah. Kind of a missing aspect.
And usually when you don't have creep spread like this, it kind of leans towards that you don't want to play too long in the game.
Exactly.
So it's usually that you're doing something, you're going to either win by winning or win by defending, if that makes sense. Win by attacking or win by defending, and then attacking. But here come the Corruptors. We're going to see if these Corruptors, they should be enough to bring this down, and he's going to have a very powerful fight here onto the third base of HasuObs. The Phoenixes obviously aren't going to do anything against the Corruptors. They're very bad. There's not that many Stalkers down. The Void Ray will fall very fast as well. And especially if Ghost uses a micro as well, we'll just bring down the Colossus, like one-shot it. And look, Ghost uses at 200 supply, man, very fast. Like, he's not looking to play that long in this game. Like, that was a very fast 200 supply max out, considering the tech choice, the way that he got there, getting gas very early. And here comes this scary fight. And that's not good to lose that kind of Corruptor. And he's moving into the open space here. Going to put the Corruptors above the city building. And, well, he's targeting down the Colossus. And if these Colossus fall, Ghost User's going to win this game. I just can't see HasuObs defending this. Down goal the Colossus. +1 Roach and Hydras. Good defense so far from HasuObs. 3 cannons and the Photon Charge. And now Phoenix is coming in. The third. He's focusing down the third instead of fighting the army. And that's just... Oh my, if it doesn't go down, that is disastrous, but it does fall. If that hadn't have gone down, that was game over for Ghostly User, because he just wasted everything. All that attack, 200 supply, but he did it. He brought that down, and now he's able to go with Wave 2, which is Roach Hydras, which is +2, which will most likely be with a couple of Vipers here.
Yeah, he did lose all of his Corruptors there, trading them for the Colossus. The Viking, or the Phoenix, stayed alive. And, they don't do a lot, but they were kind of crucial in, I think, a little bit of that early warning there. So Hasu kind of get in position and defend. And
Ghost User building 12 drones before adding on his Vipers to make sure he has that fourth base mining efficiently. And here comes Wave 2 in a couple of moments' time. So what we're going to see is the Vipers come out. They'll use their new upgrades in Heart of the Swarm, the consumption once again. And they'll start to build their energy right away. I have no idea why he's destroying the Twilight Council. He can't get out. But now he also can't continue his upgrades. So he's going to have to rebuild that immediately. But yeah, going back to what we're going to see from Ghost User is we'll probably just do it on a hatchery or something. Or an extractor. And we'll build up his consumption energy, or hatchery, there it is. And he's just going to go for it. And this is going to be a very strong attack. We pointed out throughout the series here that HasuObs wants and has to use Storm to defend against this, because the Colossus will fall fast. Because he destroyed the Twilight Council, the Temple Archives is not coming down. The Phoenixes do scout out this fourth base being taken. We need to see Temple Archives come down fast, really fast here, because if not, he could be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to have, actually, there, as you call it, for it comes, but not going to be in time for this, at least, initial attack.
Well, this initial attack's going to be quite deadly. Of course, the Viper's heading straight towards the Colossus. He will not fight from this angle, so that wall-off helps, but it doesn't help, if that makes sense. It helps wall-off there, but the fight's not going to be there. It's going to be in the open space. It looks like, Ghost User will see that, and here he's going to come in. He will pull the Colossus immediately, and he actually grabs someone else with it too. Down for the Colossus instantly. Ghost User pulling the Void Rays in two of the DPS hitters, and with the Hydras at the back here, we'll see if he's able to break through 160 supply to 120. And with a Void Rays going down, great time warp put down there by HasuObs. And I think it was the Mothership core which got pulled in initially with the 2 Colossus because there is no Photon charge. He's trying to build it. He's trying to build a Mothership to try and defend this. And HasuObs down on 90 supply. Ghost User up to 187. The Vipers are going to fall down, but if that 3rd base falls down with the next wave, which I don't think that he can get enough units out in time to defend, then Ghost User is going to be in a magnificent position with the 4th base and 5th base down. The Roaches and Hydras are on their way here. 1 Colossus is going to be the real only thing to defend against these Roaches and Hydras. There's no Vipers anymore, I don't think. There's no more Corruptors, so you know there's nothing to get to that Colossus here. But here comes the next wave here. 2 Vipers are being made. The Colossus not quite ready. This is going to be incredibly close here for HasuObs to hold on. He will have time warp to buy some time. Sentry's been warped in as well to try and crowdsource this army, to try and slow it down from coming in all at once. But, you know, Ghost User fighting in the open. This is so smart to do. The Colossus is cut away from the main army. And, I think HasuObs is in a bunch of trouble here. The Colossus comes to defend. The units will pick it off. And that 3rd is exposed. And he can easily pick that down. And if that goes down, it will be 2 base versus 4, 5 on the way, if not already running. And good force fields, good defense by HasuObs, but he can't lose this base, he can't lose the probes either here, and he's just fighting an uphill battle always throughout this game. 100 supply difference, and Ghost User
looking pretty good.
Again, he's looking great. We've seen a lack of Zerg play, a dominant Zerg play so far in the King of the Hill series, but Ghost User bringing it. He doesn't kill the Nexus, but he kills all the probes. There are 4 Nexus now, which means 4 times Chrono Boost, 4 sets of probes per cycle, so he will climb up fast, but there's 96 drones.
Yeah.
Even though that's a lot, he can easily start to expend them, start to get spine spores to defend against potential harassment, but...
I mean, he's got more drones in supply than HasuObs has total supply. So
wow.
That's a bad spot to be in, but he hung on. And
he's got 2 Colossus. Vipers are going to come in to have a say about those 2 Colossus, but once again, Roach and Hydras, the key focus point of Ghost User. Imagine if he was already teching towards Ultras right now.
Yeah, that would actually be a beautiful
that.
Switch, I think, right there.
Instead of getting that +3 attack, that was +1 melee.
Yeah.
And they had the Ultras having been built, and he was preparing himself for like wave 20, which was Ultras. And that may be the kind of missing links that Zergs are having at the moment, is, you know, making that connection to something else. But right now, Ghost User doesn't need that. He's brought down this 3rd base. The feedback goes down, but still pulls in that Colossus. Storm comes down. Another Storm comes down. But does he have enough? The Roaches break past that force field, unfortunately, for HasuObs here. And it looks like with a good amount of Storms, he will start to hold on. But... GG. That's me watching the game. And now I need to get back in position.
Who knocked the camera? Oh my god.
Semler. Adjust. Semler was messing about.
Well, guys, fortunately...
live adjusting.
Fortunately, we'll be going to a commercial break for our next series in a second anyway.
Fix me. No, too far. Too less. Fix me.
It doesn't fit anymore, man. Look at the bottom right.
Fix me. Alright, no, too much.
Amateur hour. You gotta zoom in a little, maybe.
Zoom in a little bit.
Look at the edge of the monitor now.
Oh, zoom in.
Oh.
To my face.
No,
to my eyes. Too much. Alright, good. Alright, we're going to go to a very quick commercial break, guys, when Scriff gets back in position. Scriff producing today instead of Trance, because Trance was tired. But guys, Ghost User goes 2 wins in a row, banks $250, and now will face off in a Zerg versus Zerg against one of the best in the business, Quantixion, who yesterday got his revenge from the KOTH finals against Sniper within Code A, which put him into the KOTH for Heart of the Swarm. But this is no longer Wings of Liberty. Let's see how Hyun can do against Ghost User. We'll be right back.